trailers. That's right, it's the women of the supernatural. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Put your hands together. For Ruth, Connell, Briana, Buckmaster, Rhodes, Rachel Minor, and Emily Swallow.
Just the thought of us.
Cinco, Bubba.
Make it if we try. Just the thought of us.
Swallow.
Just the thought of us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Shooting castles in the sky. Shooting. Just the thought of us.
Shoot the castle, Bubba.
You,
Open fire on the castle. Shoot the castle. Shoot the windows out of the castle.
shooting castles. Go. Shoot that.
More of that, please.
Put they're comfortable. Everybody put their seat. And there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There they go. Nice, classy intro. And
Good
now,
morning. Oh, fuck, it's not morning anymore. Well, fuck you guys then.
I got a microphone with a pink. It's very pink.
It's very pink, Richard.
I think it's a good morning. It's one of those, I actually got sleep.
Yeah, man, same,
Yeah.
same. There must be something really good in the water here because everybody's sleeping really well at this convention.
9 hours. I've never slept 9 hours at a convention. I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, it's gonna be wild, you guys.
Hi.
Hi!
That's what
This is
happens.
awesome. Look at all these
That's what happens when you get sleep. We like remember to say hello to people. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Sparkling.
Who was at karaoke last night? Yeah! That's all. It was fun.
Bye, guys. Peace out.
Hey, is this the bit where we should do the bit about when the boys come back on?
Yes, please.
Right, okay. So, sometimes when band come on to bring us off, people go boo because they don't want us to leave. But they're a little bit sensitive. So
And we love them
we
very
love
much.
them, yeah, and we want them to feel welcome when they come on stage. So when they come on to take us off, can we like lift the roof off? Like, yes, you guys are here to take them off. Yeah?
Because we love women here, but we also love men.
Yes.
Well, that's, yeah, no, it's just, you don't have to make this promise for anything in the future.
No.
We're just asking it in
Just
this
now.
moment. Join us in welcoming our beloved brethren back to the stage.
Just for Christmas. Just for Christmas.
It's all they're getting this year.
Should we practice? Should we practice?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll be Richard Spade.
It's uncanny.
That was pretty good.
They're gonna be so confused.
I think Richard might be out of a job.
Right? Can you imagine? That's all he says all
Yeah.
weekend.
He got a couple.
Yep.
It's like one of the characters from the Muppets. Okay, let's not start on this train. Okay, let's take some questions.
Phenomena.
Hello, yes, you.
Is that ISIS?
Hi, Sus.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, cutie.
Hey, my question's for Amara. How did you feel when Dean was a bomb?
What'd you
I
say?
didn't hear any of that.
The question's for Amara.
Yeah?
How did you feel when Dean was a bomb?
When
How did I
Dean
feel
was
when
a-
Dean was a bomb?
A bum or a bomb?
A bum or a bomb? A bomb. Okay, I was like, I don't think Dean's a bum. He's a very upstanding young man. I think it was very confusing because, you know, we had some very special feelings in our hearts for each other that were kind of conflicted.
And your hearts or your
Well
hearts?
played,
in
nice one.
other
Of
bits.
some anatomical arena.
You know, things
The
were
child.
kind of tingly. Do you have anyone that you have a crush on yet? No? Not even like Dean or Sam?
Somebody
Yeah,
behind
your
you's
mom is saying
nodding.
yes.
Somebody's outing you.
So, you know, I mean, it's confusing anyway if you like that special somebody. Sometimes you feel like you're floating on air. Sometimes you feel like you want to die. I would imagine if someone you had a crush on had a bomb inside their body, it might make it a little more confusing. So,
Afflicted.
yeah. I think that she was relieved that it all turned out okay, and that he did not blow himself up, because that wouldn't really have helped anyone. It would have been a sad day for us all.
Yeah, no season 13.
Yeah.
Thanks, Isis.
Great
Thank you,
question.
sweetie.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you want?
My name's Lauren, and I'm from Atlanta. And I was just wondering, what are your hair care secrets?
What's that?
Your hair, what do you do?
What do I do?
How do y'all keep it looking great?
What do I do? So usually in a slightly tired state, what I do is, without looking, what I do, I can do it in a bus, I can do it in a moving car, not when I'm driving.
You need 2 hands here.
If you're missing it, she's just mumbling quietly to herself.
Yeah, you mumble quietly to yourself as you're doing it, and then it means when you take your hair down, it's curly. But with the humidity here, I don't actually need as much help as I normally do. Was that your question?
Also, Ruth has magical powers, and I think she uses it to make herself more beautiful. Just
Should have seen Rachel last week when we were at the marathon. She had the sexiest tights I've ever seen on in the world. I want her to bring them out for tonight.
I almost wore them again, but then I was like, is that asking for people to continue to? Oh,
Yes, and that's okay.
And that's
What's wrong with that?
Thigh validation is important.
Okay.
Go for it. Go this side.
Hello.
Hi. My question is, if in real life you were angels or demons, what would it take to summon you?
Not much.
Chocolate. Like a little chocolate.
A puppy.
Food.
A smile in the right direction.
Somebody just say a unibrow?
That's what I heard.
Oh, a unicorn.
Hey man, there's all kinds of kinks out there.
You know, whatever your
I'm not
thing
judging
is.
ya.
Everyone needs.
Unibrow, the magazine. Men with unibrows.
yeah, I have a
Unicorn.
feeling that people would be using hexes against me, not summoning me. Because I'd be like, yeah, I'm here. Do you need me?
You need to get rid of, I need to be exorcised, not summoned. Just go away.
Sure, I think you need something.
You seem to be having some feels. I'll be right here. You'll be ready for a hug any minute.
That's right. We're the overly attentive angel demons.
We're the easy angels. Hello.
I'm Jennifer.
Filthy mind.
Wow.
What's your name? Where are you from? What would you like to know, darling?
I'm Jennifer from Bradenton, Florida, and I was wondering if you ladies like chocolate.
Let me think, yeah.
That was an easy.
I like chocolate more than most things or people.
I'll tell you how much I like chocolate. I quit sugar like 8 years ago. I eat raw chocolate.
I would eat a chocolate unibrow.
There's a cake for that. Chocolate Unibrow magazine.
Yeah, look at
Debbie does Dallas, then has a chocolate Unibar. Wait, hold on. I suddenly thought of something really too dirty to continue with.
Yes.
Use your fucking imaginations. I know how dirty you assholes are. Pull it together. I don't want this on YouTube. I am a mother.
I feel like there's more to that question based on
Okay,
the fact
yeah,
that you're
sorry.
holding something.
Back to you.
Or maybe that's just me hoping.
Because I have some, but I was informed I couldn't just give it to you guys right now.
Oh. Are you scared now?
Bring
Get it, get it, go get it.
Can I get it?
I think we're allowed to rob them. We just aren't allowed to accept gifts from them.
I'm really smaller.
That's okay.
Her superhero comes out.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
She
you.
didn't have anything. I don't know.
So weird.
I think my mic is messed up. I'm just gonna
You get your sweet
go
little
this
tush back
way.
here. These curves aren't gonna feed themselves, goddammit.
It's good stuff. It's the good stuff. We've got this. we've got this.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, true story. When I lived in New York, I lived across the street from a Godiva shop. And I was there so often they gave me the employee discount. I can't, they'd have it ready for me. Like Starbucks has your order ready for you. No, Godiva would have my truffles ready for me.
Also, true story. When you said you lived in New York, my heart beat a little faster because I was thinking I love you all so much, but the one problem is I live miles and miles away.
But now I'm there.
That's right.
And I have a puppy.
So we're gonna
So I'm there.
summoned.
Whoa! Chocolate lava cake truffle, strawberry cheesecake truffle, and creme brulee. I don't know what to do.
I know, guys.
I know what to do with it. I know what to do with it.
Watch.
You know what? It's garbage. It's just terrible.
I don't want to try it. I don't want to go there.
I feel like you should just let me get rid of it for you.
Thanks for
It's not
taking one
valid.
for the team, Briana.
I do enjoy the fact that they say they're irresistibly smooth.
You're not wrong.
Yes! Yes!
Oh yeah.
I'll eat off the floor. I don't care.
I'll just be down here. This is like pantomime. Very pantomime, man.
Those Lindor chocolates are probably my favorite thing in the world. And listen, I'm gonna say that I don't want any of you bringing me any of them. Because last time I said that about a candy bar, I got Kit Kats for a fucking year and a half. It's not the worst thing in the world, but now I can't look at Kit Kats anymore. I'm just kidding. I had one half an hour ago.
I'm completely distracted by
No, I
something
thought we were
else.
saving them all.
There's a Christmas tree.
I have a
over
garbage
here.
bag.
Okay.
Oh god, that's
we
good.
seem to all
Thank
be
you.
on it.
What's your name again?
Jennifer.
I don't know why I'm yelling into a microphone,
Jennifer.
but thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Really loving it.
I'm
Hello.
talking with my mouth
It's
full.
the best. I love that you've carried that over. Have you been wearing that all weekend?
You're more pregnant today, though, aren't you?
I can't. Blessed be the fruit. Thank you. This question is for everyone on the panel who wants to answer it. I was wondering if you could explain what the Bechdel test is to the audience. And talk about,
Yeah, we can. We did it.
Yeah.
and talk about how you feel it relates to your overall career, including, but of course not limited to Supernatural.
This is going to be a long panel.
Yeah. I actually noted it in real life. I was out with two girlfriends and we did a whole night and we did we passed the Bechdel test the entire night. Yeah, where the conversation's not
Does everyone
about...
know what it is?
Yeah.
Ruth, will you explain it?
you're more intellectual than me.
Oh, don't look at me like that.
Make Rachel do
yeah,
it.
Oh my god.
Because I have stuff to say about other representation that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there other names?
No, I'll do that after. But first, explain the Bechdel.
It's well, first of all, when there's just two women in a scene, and the conversation isn't about a man, isn't about how the storyline feeds into a man and also into I believe in a kind of in a romantic or relationship point of view. So like Amara and Rowena just have a conversation about the end of the world, and it's not about saving or serving another male character. That
We
would
got so
pass.
excited when we mentioned the Bechdel test because we'd been talking about it before, and then we got that script and we were like, oh my gosh, it's happening!
It's amazingly rare. Like the number of times where I've seen shows or films that are touted as like being female empowered because there are many women, but you realize the whole time they're just trying to get the guy to pay attention to them.
There's actually a list of movies, and there's so few movies actually pass the test. Whereas there's many conversations where men have conversations with other men, and it's not about a woman or a romantic interplay with a woman. So yeah, is that right? Do you agree? Yeah.
But it's super important because these things seep into our consciousness. And that's something that I've been looking at a lot, just in terms of how we represent ourselves in the world, that it makes such a difference, and we often don't realize that we're kind of subliminally affected by all of these things. We don't think we are of value because we're constantly taught that unless you are presenting a certain thing or you care about a certain thing, you don't really belong in existence. So that's something that I'm very passionate about now too, in terms of representation of ability as well. It's so important, because I can't tell you over the last 8 years how many things I catch all the time where I feel less than, or that I should not be alive, because I've never seen it properly represented. Or if you do, a lot of times, I realize that when we do see decent representation of people who are disabled, usually they're male. So it's a weird, it's a double whammy. Being female and disabled, you so rarely see a strong character that is just continuing to live their life. We mostly see male characters. If we ever see a person in a wheelchair who is, still surviving well and still strong and stuff, they're male. So,
and their storyline tends to be about being a survivor.
Yes, yes.
So, did you write to Andrew Dabb yet? Did you send him the email?
To what?
Explaining that you were still acting?
I haven't written to Andrew, but I am actually actively starting to fight to get back into acting.
I would love to see you. Love that. And if it doesn't happen, let's make something that just that we do it.
I would like to point out that a lot of times we think of female representation as serving women. And I see when you ask a man, why do you need feminism? Often the first response is because I have a wife, because I have a daughter, thank you for recognizing that connection. But further than that, I want to say, because if men are taught and women are taught that a woman is an extension of the man, then that makes everything a woman experiences the man's job and fault. So when a man can sever that assumption that actually every pain your loved one who happens to be female experiences is your fault and job, it actually would free men up as well to see women as not their extension, but a human being who is present and capable of being a partner, and also that they don't have to worry about anyone besides themselves. And I think that would also be very freeing. So it's not just women who need to see equal representation to take back our own power. I think men are also fully served by going, oh, I don't have to fix you. I don't have to be blamed for you. I don't have to somehow live my life for me and you. I can just be present and witness and love you, and that's enough. And I would like to see that for men as well.
Amen.
I also want to add to that, which is that better representation of any, quote, gender helps open the door for all genders, because the problem is we label and say you are only allowed to fit those certain criteria because of what you were gendered with as a child. And so a lot of men cannot fully express themselves and who they are, and I say men in quotes, a lot of people who are labeled men, a lot of people who are labeled women cannot express themselves correctly. And so the more we fight for better representation for any gender, the more we free up your ability to be uniquely you, regardless of gender.
Thank you. And good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
It looks like it's going to be painful.
Yeah. And it might happen 4 or 5 times.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Abigail. I'm from here. So just to get that out of the way.
Jacksonville!
I asked Rachel this. Is it working? I asked Rachel this yesterday, so I wanted to extend the question to the rest of you if they're on the stage.
One of my professors in college always said that acting is living someone else's truth. And because of that, whenever I act, I always find myself learning different and new truths from each of my characters. I was wondering what truths your characters on Supernatural have taught you.
Can I get your email address and I'll just email you later? My brain is on. Thank you so much. Next question? Just kidding. I'm kidding. It's a beautiful, intelligent question. I want to answer it properly. I love that did you say that your professor is teaching you, or is telling you that acting is about living somebody else's truth? Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's very profound and accurate. And that's kind of what's exciting about being an actor, is you're not really pretending, you are living another life.
I would like to offer, though, that I think of it slightly different, that in living someone else's truth, I find out truths about myself, which is kind of
Yeah, exactly. So I think that for me, the truth that I discovered through Donna was that I have everything I need within myself, and I don't need validation from anybody.
It's subtle, but important. I think Jody has taught me that things don't always have to be complicated.
That's a good one. I really appreciated, because of the extent to which Amara went to be heard, and I do really think it came down to something that simple, that she did not feel heard in so many ways, and for such a long time. And I'm not somebody who, it's funny, because I will totally go to the mat for a character, and I will want to find the best expression emotionally for that character, emotionally and intellectually and all these things. But I realize I don't often do that for myself, because I'm too busy just trying to keep up with life and trying to manage things and figure out how to get through this. And having the extent of her expression of "somebody please hear me" made me realize how sad and discouraged and angry it makes me feel when I don't feel like I have a voice. And so that was really cool to get to discover that, and not have to smite people and destroy them in order to put that into practice in my own life.
I think I learned that I'm fabulous. I had a slight suspicion. That's it. Thank you. And,
Hello.
Did you answer?
I answered yesterday.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Hi, sorry. So my question is, what is the most interesting fan experience you had not at a con?
Just in life?
Yeah, just out in the wild.
What's the most interesting?
Oh, the wild? What do you think I do on the weekends? You're not wrong. Girl.
I can answer this quickly.
There you go.
This is indicative of many conversations I've had. Small person looks at me and goes, "Are you the mom on Zack and Cody?" And I say, "Yeah." And small person says, "No, you're not." Okay, I'm not. "But are you? What do you want from me?" That's usually like existential crisis brought on by a fan is familiar.
I forgot the question.
What's the most interesting fan experience we've had in the wild?
Is this what happens when you get sleep?
This is what happens. I've had a couple, or more than a couple. I remember though, traveling. I'd gone to Australia to the convention in Australia. I'd come from Vancouver. I was doing 5 continents in 5 weeks over the Christmas period. And I'd gone from Australia. I travelled to Japan on my own and was travelling via Dubai back to Edinburgh to go to New York. It was exhausting. And I felt really lonely. It was Christmas and I was in many different continents on my own. And at an airport, this gentleman said to me, like, I don't know even where I was in the world. This gentleman said to me, I love the show, I love your character, thank you so much. And it honestly changed my energy completely. It changed the journey. It changed the journey home, and it's one of the loveliest experiences I've had. I also had an experience where somebody jumped out in front of me in London and went, "Oh my God, you're Rowena, aren't you?" And that was less soothing, but still fabulous.
I don't know if it's particularly interesting, but I feel like it's indicative of who I am, because my entire life I've thought I was anonymous and forget that people notice I'm there. I used to, like in high school, I would just leave when we were, like I was hanging out with groups, and I would assume no one would notice, and then like the next day they'd be like, "We're all looking for you, like where did you go?" Because I was just like, "Oh, I was done." Like, I don't know. But so as I was getting, progressing in terms of having more and more trouble walking, and so I still was determined I would go to the gym every day, and I'd like go swimming and all. So I was going to the gym, but I know I was struggling a lot through that period. So God knows what I was, like there were times I would go swimming, and the shower was downstairs, and I couldn't get back up after the shower. So I would like sit on the stairs naked because I had no choice. So, you know, this was my life for a few years. And someone said one day, when I was checking into the gym, like, "I love your work on Supernatural. We're all so inspired by the fact that you still come here every day." Which was very sweet, but I also suddenly realized I'm very much not anonymous, and people have been watching me this whole time. And so I still don't know how I feel about that to this day, but that's my experience.
I actually always get nervous in change rooms, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm not super bashful. So when I'm in a change room, I'll just like strip down, walk around, I'll do my hair and makeup, and then I was like, oh, like maybe people know who I am, because nobody ever stops me, ever. And I live in Vancouver, and there are a lot of actors that work there. Nobody ever stops me. I said that once to Rich, and Rich is like, "It's because you look nothing like your character." And so he said, he was like alluding to the fact that people just didn't recognize me. I think people just are like, okay. But often I have people waiting for me at the Vancouver airport after a convention. And one time there was quite a substantial gaggle of young girls, like high schoolers, and they were all wearing the Wayward AF t-shirt, and they were so excited. And it was early on, I think it was when the movement was just starting, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is what I'm doing this for. Like, I love getting a paycheck, I love being able to travel, but the fact that there's these young girls that feel influenced by things that we say up here or online or things that we do by demonstration, that made me go, oh, you're listening, you're paying attention, and that makes me pay attention to what I'm doing, and made me feel very proud and very excited.
I have a really quick one, which happened here because I'm from here. My whole family still lives here, and so when I'm in town, I go to the church where I grew up with my parents, and there was one time, I guess shortly after I'd started doing Supernatural, when I was in the lobby and somebody like across the lobby went, "Hey, it's the darkness!" And I'm in church and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Maybe maybe not here, maybe don't yell at some people who have, you know, because many people had no idea that I was doing this show, so I was like, come on. I already got in enough trouble when I was a kid. So that was memorable.
Good, it's good. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, my question's for Briana. At PitCon in 2016 and 2017, you'd said that you'd never tried a cookie dough milkshake, and I was wondering if you tried it since.
A cookie dough milkshake?
Yeah.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, 17 people brought me a cookie dough milkshake at that convention. You guys really want to make sure I get my food in. That's what I love about you. Yeah, I tried a cookie dough milkshake. It was fine. I'd rather just eat the fucking cookie dough.
I don't want my cookie dough like pureed.
Don't water that shit down. Hoover it in, yo. I love that though. Good memory, Cash.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, if you as actors ended up as your characters in the supernatural universe, who would cause the most chaos with their newfound abilities?
Hold on, are we... Say that again. Say the whole thing again.
It's the reverse French mistake. You end up in your character, in supernatural universe as your characters, and so...
So like Briana wakes up and is suddenly Donna?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like who would be least behaved is what you're saying. I think it'd be...
It's always the quiet ones you've got to look out for. Let me see that.
I mean, if I woke up as Rowena, I also would be like, you guys are fucked. Like, oh, she has magic powers. Like, we'd all be toast. Like, that's the best character to wake up and go, what?
No, but I think we're also all being amazingly trusting of you, Emily.
That's true. I was thinking that too.
Just like one smite, game over. Annihilation.
Don't touch my truffles!
We're all pretty naughty though, it has to be said.
Also, like, I'm terrible with a gun. So if I was like, am I supposed to shoot this thing? I have it on good authority, and my good authority on film, that I close my eyes when I shoot. Such a talented actor. You guys are so lucky. Yeah.
That's a great question. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
You guys are smart. Thinking original questions. It's hard after all these years. We're so old. Hello.
My question's for Kim. Kim, I also ride horses and I also compete. I wanted to know if you had any riding goals or if you have a specific discipline that you're particularly interested in.
I just started jumping. I know. And now, for those of you who don't ride horses, most young learners start jumping after about 6 weeks of training. It's taken me 3 years because I'm scared as fuck and I'm deeply aware of how easily I break. Physically, I don't want to break anything. So I ride English. I do a little dressage. I just started jumping. And what was the other part of the question?
Just if you had a favorite discipline or if you have
Oh,
riding
I have
goals.
no goals besides living through every moment. Besides avoiding orange cones and plastic bags and whatever new thing my dear, wonderful, borrowed horse might decide is a death threat! Like squirrels.
But do you, Mike, I have a question because I love horses. Do you borrow the horse every time? Are they different horses or
I
is it the
lease
same?
one horse. This started because I brought my daughter in for equestrian therapy and she was ambivalent about it, and I was like, for 75 bucks an hour, you do not get to be ambivalent. So I took the rest of her lessons 3 years ago.
And haven't stopped.
I haven't stopped. So yeah, there are 2 people, one of whom is my husband and the other one is Michelle from Stan's, that I text before every lesson and try to remember to text after every lesson to tell them I'm still alive.
What's so lovely though is that Kim has taken us different times. She's taken us to share. So I've been to the stables, and it's also just therapeutic. I grew up on a farm with horses. It's so therapeutic to be around. It's such a beautiful animal. And thank you.
She shares her.
Can
I share something? Because I had a horse growing up. Her name was Lady, and she was magnificent. And what I loved was her spirit, because she was really poorly behaved, like me. But she'd been abused a bit. Like because she was badly behaved, they put like really heavy bits in her mouth, so she had a lot of sores and things like that. And then what they would do is like keep putting heavier and heavier bits, and so she behaved less and less because they were hurting her. And so for some reason though, she liked me, and so she would never misbehave with me. She'd never buck or rear or like throw me off or whatever. But one of the reasons I made them put a soft bit in her mouth, and they were like, you can't, because I was 9 years old, you know, I was little, and they're like, she's going to throw you, and I was like, no, I trust her. And when we started jumping, there was this magic moment where like I would whisper in her ear, and because they always wanted to like hold her back. And so I'd whisper, even though they were telling me, like, you're supposed to just barely jump over the jump, I'd be like, you can double this one. And she'd like, just go for it. And yeah, it was just a magic relationship at this late night. And I love telling Kim about these things, because her eyes sparkle a lot.
My horse that I leased started life as an Amish cart horse. He's huge. He's built like a barrel.
She has a voice for him.
Oh yeah,
no.
Voice. Tonka quite intelligent, but Tonka kind of speak like Tarzan. Because most horses not speak at all, so Tonka quite smart. But Tonka referred to himself in third person. As Tonka does.
I want to throw something else out, which is just like a lesson to humans. It wasn't because I was wealthy that I had a horse. I started working very young, and it was the first thing I got with my own money, was I started renting, I got a horse and I started renting space to keep it, and so I wasn't able to see it all the time because I was working, but it was, it's just about, we can determine our own lives, so.
Thank you. I don't remember who asked that. But you're great, whoever you are. Hello, little ones. Oh, sorry. Hello, little one.
Hi.
Hi.
Love you all. What is the favorite weapon either that you've used or you would love to see your character use?
Favorite weapon that we use or our character uses? I don't have any weapons at home.
Or you would like to see your character use, like you would love to use a grenade launcher.
I liked it when Amara used her lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
I was super jealous of Claire's flamethrower.
That was pretty
I think
cool.
that's very Jody. I personally am not a fan
Actually, it
of
was
guns.
Donna's flamethrower.
Was it right? Yes. But
Claire got to use it. Fucking
Why didn't you share that with me?
My eyeshadow?
I love Meg's non-weapon-based powers.
Yes.
Like there was a moment where she like started to like crush Crowley with her hands.
What?
Yes. You saw this episode? Don't know why I like that. It makes me feel powerful.
Well, rightly so.
I like Donna's shotgun. I love that Donna yields a shotgun. That when she's not at work. When she's working, she has a handgun, but when she's not at work, she has a fucking shotgun. She just keeps it in D-train for whenever she needs it.
Yeah, in the script, remember the whole Olivet hamster period time? And I was working with Tara Rothery, who's a fantastic actress, and in the script it said, Rowena slaps her, and I said to John Showalter, I want to punch her in the gut. Why am I slapping? Why am I slapping a bitch? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know, like, what? And I think the weapon is important. It's how we use it and the thinking behind what we're doing, I think, is more interesting. And I remember Emily telling me a story about, it's not a weapon, but in something else you were filming, Girlfriend's Guide, which I love, there was a car in the scene, a really fancy car, which was supposed to... Aston Martin, and it was supposed to be used as her boyfriend's car. And Emily's suggestion was, why isn't the car mine? Right? So I love the weapons that we're given, I love the magic powers that I'm given, but it's like, to me, it's the thinking behind it. That's where our real power lies. We've all got weapons. What do we use them for?
100%. And it's the choice to jump in, and that's something that I've never understood. That a lot of female characters, they try to enforce that we either stand back, or unless we have a weapon or something, we don't try to do the right thing. The weapon doesn't give you strength. You always choose to jump in or not, and that to me is the important thing. So I completely.
Yeah. Thank you. You're a little bit fired up. Hello. Oh, hello.
Hi. So my question is for Ruth. My two little sisters and I, we've danced our whole lives, and I know that you're a former professional dancer. So I wanted to know what your
Okay, sorry, ask one more time.
So I wanted to know what your favorite type of dance is and why.
I love private dances. Do you know, it's just so good to move, isn't it? It's so good to move, wherever we're at, right?
Oh, Kim posted a video the other day about stimming that was so beautiful, and she was talking about stim dancing, about how...
It wasn't me. For any of you who are interested, she's at Agony Autie, A-U-T-I-E. She is autistic, she has an autistic child, so this is not original.
No, but I just wanted to...
She's amazing.
But when she said stim dancing, I was like, oh my gosh, that's something that I, maybe not for the same reasons, but I do to free myself all the time. If I'm alone in a room, and it doesn't matter what my physical condition, I will turn on music and I will find those motions, and it changes everything. What you were saying reminded me so much of that.
There's so many different kinds of dancing. I've tried so many different kinds. Flamenco, ancient Greek, tap, I like a bit of tap. I think most people can do tap because it's just making music with your feet. Ballet was my first obsession. It's like a love-hate relationship. I could talk about this for an hour and a half. What's your favorite? Can I see some from the girls? Can I see something? Can I see you do a little shimmy? Can I see a little dance? Ooh! Oh my God! Oh, I love it! Little break dance.
That was so cool.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
Wow.
Okay, really phoning it in, eh, girl?
Oh, you're the cutest.
Because I love talking about this with you. I just wanted to throw in it. Also, it's, I think, one of the most...
There she goes.
Yay! Thank you for your
Thank
questions.
you, girls.
I'm gonna give this to you, but it's pink. It's not red.
I accept your offer. This is, well, this is different. That's a refreshing change of pace.
We're just, you know what? We love you, and we decided that every once in a while it's a good idea to express that love instead of a bit.
Instead of a bit.
Instead of a bit. So we gave up the bit and went for the love because we fucking love you
I'll
guys.
tell you something, I'll take the bit of chocolate over the comedy bits. 10 times out of 10. Thank you very much, ladies. Good people of Jacksonville and the crappy people of Jacksonville. A lot of these women are going to be on this stage tonight singing with this band as a March Sidewalk special. Be there or be square. Marathoner Rachel Miner, Ruth Connell, there's 5 of them, Mike. 5.
Just the 5 of them. Building castles in the sky. Just the 5 of them. Times 5.
Bobby, it's going to take a long time for 5 people to build a castle in the sky.
Not to shoot it down, though.
Seems logistically impossible. How do you pour condensation in a cloud? Does it work that kind of way?
With 5 people?
For only 5 people trying to pour all that condensation?
I guess I was thinking it was a sand castle.
Oh! Well, then why do we need to shoot it? It's going to fall down eventually.
The question is, how do you get that sand to stay up in the sky? That's the real elephant in the room.
That's really like...
How do you build castles in the sky?
Sand comes raining down on people and gets in their eyes. So anyway, these people are a threat. These castle makers in the sky are a threat to all of us. So ladies and gentlemen, if you learn nothing else this weekend, do not trust those sky castle makers. They have nefarious motives. Isn't it right, Robert?
No, it's a very... It's a warning song.
It's a sober warning. For all of you who thought, oh, castle in the sky, that sounds neat. Listen, that's something for you to take as you stampede for the exits. That the castle in the sky bit is really a misnomer. It's really sand raining down into your eyeball and ruining your vision. And scratching your cornea. I know. It's not fun. You know why? Because it's dangerous. It's not all laughs here, Tammy. That is your moment. Yeah, Billy gets it. Alright, let's end this song.